let's kick this thing off. For you guys that don't know, and I think everyone does, my name is Jonathan Peschke, one of the co-creators of Mass Training Martial Arts Success Systems. Myself and Fred Mertens, who is actually in Jacksonville, Florida at the moment and will not be on the call today. And then also on my bottom left corner here, you'll see Roman Peschke. That is my son, and he's grown up sitting next to me doing this stuff for his 20 some odd years of living, and does a tremendous amount to help us behind the scenes, as well as provide some sound advice and for anyone that needs it, anyone that wants it. It's great. So he's a great resource and an easy way to get a hold of us as well. Roman, if you would let's go ahead and drop the link for some of our new folks that are on here if they'd like to schedule a time to find out more about mass training. Today, we're going to be talking about the PA and how to use it to help you sign someone up on day one. Now, truth be told, this starts with the phone call. If I don't have the right phone call, I'm making my job very difficult to sign somebody up. Okay. I want to have the right phone call. But then when they show up, I've got to be able to take that and amplify it, because whatever got them to walk into the building, walk through the door, break the threshold, whatever got them to do that, once they do it, poof, it's been spent. My job is now to get them to have a bigger reason so that they will come back. And the shortcut to that is enrollment. Now, I know people go, oh, yeah, but we let them try it for a month, and then if they like it, they'll sign up. They always do. Okay, well, the one that is still there always does, but that's not enough. See, I want to be able to close 6, 7, 8 out of 10 people that come into the school, which means I got to get inside their head really fast. In other words, I don't want them looking at it from this perspective. I want them looking at it through this perspective. I want them looking through my eyes. So I got to have the right conversation. I've got to uncover the concerns that they might have. I'm going to widen that. I'm going to poke my finger in the wound. I'm going to widen that gap, and then I'm going to provide them the relief they need so they realize, oh my gosh, not only can I do it, I might actually get pretty good at it. And most importantly, this is the place for me. All right. For you guys that I know, a couple of you guys have been around mass training for a lot of years. You've heard the saying, you is it. You is it. It's poor English, but it illustrates it perfectly. You've got to demonstrate that you are the one for them. You are the person that's going to be a mentor in their life and help them become not only the best version of themselves, but become better than even they thought they could be. There's the real deal. We just had a black belt test Friday night. We had almost 30 people test for black belt ranks Friday night. It was great. The testimonials parents stood up and gave, amazing. Talking about how their kids, I mean, some of them were adults, but the parents that were there for their kids, talking about what a change they've seen in their child, right? That's what we do for people. But oftentimes we don't realize, we treat it like an activity, and therefore so do they. We've got to hold it in a higher regard so that they will. We've all heard the stuff like, as an instructor, your student will give you 60% of what you give them. I believe that, but it's the same off the mat too. So if we treat it casually, if we treat it like an activity, if we treat it like no big deal, if we're casual and cavalier about it, what are they doing? Right? So and that's sometimes I think the biggest challenge for martial artists is to maintain that enthusiasm, maintain that intensity, that when I talk to a parent about martial arts, I get amped up, I get animated, I get excited, because I have a singular focus, and that is on what they will get to become. And if I can't convey my excitement and energy for what they're going to get to become, how will they? They can't embrace something I don't give them. So, Mr. Gartland, Master Gartland, you were asking before everyone got on here, about the upgrades, and that'll be one of our future calls specifically. But to address that part right now, yeah, we tell them you have a lot to look forward to. Our goal, our aspiration is to help everyone one day reach the prestigious rank of black belt. We tell them part of our tour is to get them excited about this is what you're going to get to do today. However, there's good things in store. And I also want to teach them, train them that if they do a good job, they might qualify. See, I want them looking forward to it with anticipation. In my mind's eye, I see them going to their kid, oh, I hope you're good enough. I hope we make it, right? That's what I want to create. So I've got to let them know that there is a real program here, but we select people for that. And the truth is, as of right now, you're not quite ready. But fingers crossed, you do a good job. We'll be having that conversation here in just a couple short weeks. So for today, let's get you started on our basic, and you'll explain what that is. Okay. All right. So now, my promise today was to go through our PA, and our PA is phenomenal, and at least I believe so. And what's great about this is that all of you guys have seen PAs, I'm sure, and this one has evolved over the years, and this is the best version of it yet. And the reason why is because it cuts down even more so to why they are there in terms of what we can have the biggest impact with. If we look at our old PA, it had things like, do you want to, a number of these, you guys have probably seen versions of this. It's everywhere. I mean, any coaching or consulting agency in martial arts, you'll see mass training fingerprints all over it because it's been around that long and people grip and rip left and right. But they don't have this. What you'll see is like, order these in a number of importance. What is it? Fitness, self-defense, confidence, and focus, right? But the problem is when someone says, I need better fitness, that's cheap. Go join Planet Fitness for $10 a month. Now I got to fix that. If you tell me fitness, I got more work to do because now I got to get you to think about it differently so it's something I can sell easily. Or if they say even self-defense, the truth is most kids are not getting in fist fights. They might be getting cyberbullied. They might be getting shoved a little bit. But heck, I don't think since my generation have kids actually punched each other in the face very often, unless they're doing it on purpose with boxing gloves on, right? And maybe I'm wrong, but I know we've worked with a lot of folks, and usually it's more mental than physical for a lot of people. That doesn't mean we don't want to teach them real martial arts. It doesn't want to mean that we don't want to teach them how to actually defend themselves. But I just know that 99% of the mommies that bring their kid into me to become a student is not because their kid has a black eye. That's usually not the case. What do they normally want? Somebody help me out. Who's got a good answer? What 9 times out of 10, what are they looking for?
Something for their kid to do.
Something for their kid to do, which sucks because that's an activity and they're cheap. Activities are a dime a dozen. What else? Let's see if we can't get a couple of these. What's another good one? What's a good one?
Babysitting.
Oh, no, we don't do that. Okay, what's another one?
Self-confidence.
There we go. Now that's worth a lot of money because self-confidence prevents bullying. Self-confidence makes it easier to learn. Self-confidence allows you to choose good friends and decline the ones that aren't. Self-confidence allows you to really go for it and do your best. Oh, that's worth a lot of money. Absolutely. That's a good one. What's the other biggie? Confidence, and there's one more. What's the other biggie that we specialize in that's worth a lot of money?
Conflict resolution.
Okay.
Practical conflict resolution.
Yeah, that's pretty good, except for I haven't necessarily had a mama articulate that to me, but you're right. We do teach that. Everything you've said, everything everyone has said so far has been right. No one's been wrong. But what are the 2 things that we can sell easily that are high value items? Confidence and
focus and discipline.
Bingo. There we go. Those are the 2 big money words. Now, focus and discipline. I've relatively recently, stopped using discipline because it doesn't sound fun and it sounds like you're in trouble. Now, I know discipline doesn't mean you're in trouble. There's imposed discipline. You might be in trouble. And then there's self-discipline, which simply means telling yourself what to do, whether you feel like it or not. All right. But at an entry level, I think focus and confidence are the 2 biggies. Because the shy kids need more focus, and the ones that are unruly need more. The shy kids need more confidence, and the wild ones, they just need to be more focused. And if a parent tells you, well, my kid needs more discipline, focus is one of our specialties. This is what enables children to keep their eyes on the instructor at school, to make learning easier. This is what helps children be able to listen to you at home and do what they're told, when they're told, on the first time. Is that the kind of kid you'd like to have, Mom? What's she going to say? Yes. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're going to start to work on together here. See, notice, what did I do? Is that the kind of child you want to have? Because number one, I'm not going to promise to fix your kid. I did that 20, 30 years ago, and it was a mistake. I used to do it all the time. Bring your kid to me and I'll fix them. The problem is I get them for 2, 3 hours a week, and mom's got them hundreds of hours a week. I can't compete with that. I can't. So they, but I can help. I can provide a third-party influence. I can be a mentor in your child's life. I can be an example. So I no longer promise to fix your kid. You don't pay me enough for that. And the truth is, I'm not going to have them move in with me. So let's not promise what we can't deliver on. However, I can help steer your child in the right direction to get better results, to have a better child going forward. I mean, you say things like this, like, Ms. Smith, what grade is your kid in? He's in 1st grade. Well, let me tell you, when he's in 4th grade and earning a black belt, you're going to have a different child than most. Your kid's going to have a different experience than most. It's going to be magnificent, because by improving his focus, like we just talked about, you're going to be able to have a child that gets better grades, that is easier to learn. It's easier to choose the right friends. It's easier to stand up for what's right. It's easier to be an example for others to follow. Is that the kind of 4th grader that you want? They say yes. Now, what am I doing? I'm not talking about what he gets to do right now, because right now becomes an activity, or babysitting, even worse. And the truth is, I'll say it again, activities are cheap. So now I've kind of pigeonholed myself and only being able to charge a lesser amount, because now I'm competing with soccer, maybe park and rec, all these little activities that their kid, that they don't care about, because it's just something to keep their kid busy. I want to position myself in a whole different light, guys. You got to be a mentor and an educator and a life coach, so to speak, through martial arts and teaching. And if you teach good martial arts and you are able to articulate and share how it impacts a child's life, not today so much, also today, but in the future, that's when parents are like, okay, I want to invest in this. I want that kind of 4th grader. Because I've said this before, and I think it's kind of funny, and hopefully you will too, but every parent has a child. But the truth is, it's not the child they want, it's the child they've got. Think about that. Now, that doesn't mean they don't want their child. Every parent, I hope, loves their child dearly. But every parent wants more for their kid. Would you agree? I sent Roman a meme or a video or a picture or whatever the heck it was. I don't know if you saw it the other day. And it said, your father is the only person you will ever know that will genuinely be happy for you when you're better than them. Think about that. So yeah, everyone's got the child they have, and it's not the child they want, because everyone wants more for their kid. So we got to talk about not what their kid is going to get to do. We're going to talk about what their child is going to get to become. And that's a high ticket item. Okay, so here we go. We're going to screen share. Roman, can you turn on screen share for me, please?
Yeah, 1 second.
And yes, Master Gartland, yes, I will take care of that. Here we go. All right, this is the newest iteration of our personal analysis. And you guys that are clients, I'll send you an editable version of this or put your name on it for you. But the top portion, when they come into the academy, we take them through a 7-step enrollment process. All right. And part of that is filling out the PA. And when they fill out the PA, they're going to fill out the date, how they hear about us, name, age, date of birth. Maybe, hopefully they have more than one kid. Hopefully they have more than one parent, address, both parents' emails, both parents' cell phone numbers. And then they're going to read or not read this portion right here. But this portion right here, this little liability release waiver is vital, because not only are they signing this, realizing there is a risk of injury, but they're also removing any liability of that, loss of personal injury, loss of personal property, I mean, unfortunately, not everyone always follows the tenets of Taekwondo or whatever style you teach. But I also hereby state that the participants named above are physically fit, blah, blah, blah. I also understand that there are no refunds to any monies I pay to the facility. Also important. Okay. So they're going to sign and date it. And that's the first part. When they come in, we need them to fill out this top portion. This is our first measure of compliance. This is really important. We're looking for response indicators because I will never operate out of desperation. If you're not a good fit for our academy, I do not want you to sign up. I'm going to say that again. If you're not going to be a big compliant participant who is an enthusiastic addition to this academy, this community that we've built, if you're not wanting to be a part of that, hey, that's okay. If now's not the time, it's okay. You know, you're free to go. In fact, let me invite you to go. So for example, when I first fill this out, the first thing we do is look at it to make sure everything is complete. There's no blanks. If there is a blank, we address it. This sets the precedent of how this respectful relationship will work. For example, sometimes mom doesn't put her age and date of birth. She hands it back to me. It's incomplete. Oh, Mrs. Smith, what's your date of birth? Now, I'm not going to make her wrong. Oh, hey, you didn't fill this out completely. That's rude, and it creates conflict. I'll say, oh, Mrs. Smith, I don't have your date of birth on here. What's your date of birth? Oh, I didn't put that on there. I see that. So what is that? I need to be able to send you a birthday card if I like. What's your date of birth? Ask again. Why am I doing this? To gain compliance. This is what we like to call a response indicator. Now, I think this has only happened twice in the last 10 or 15 years where a person would not fill this out, at which point we did not go forward. We had a dad one time at our Folsom location. He goes, well, I'm not putting that information down. That's personal information. At which point we said, well, sir, this is a private academy. And we don't just allow anybody in here. In order to be a part of our academy, we do have to have all your information. Rest assured, it's safe, it's secure. Heck, we have law enforcement here, even Department of Homeland Security. We actually have one family, dad's an FBI agent. And I got all their information. So go ahead and fill this out so we can get started. Just tell them what you do want. And he insisted, oh, no, I'm an attorney and I'm not filling this out. At which point, Mr. Huizar was the instructor there at the time. And he goes, okay, well, in that case, we'll need to go ahead and press pause on your trial for today. And if we need to, we can certainly give you a refund, but that'd be a shame. But I can't move forward without this completed. We need all of this filled out in order to meet our insurance requirements and everything else. And dad goes, well, I'm not going to do it. Okay, well, in that case, it was nice to meet you. And I wish you the best. And that was it. Done. Now, people go, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. I would. I don't want this headache for the next 12, 24, 36, 48 months, because how they start is how they stay. And if he's going to dictate the rules to me from the beginning, how will you ever be a good leader for him? You won't. So you got to decide in advance, what are the rules of engagement? You have to decide in advance, how are you going to run your business? Because if it's up to, there's a saying about this. If you're going to let the inmates rule the asylum, you'll never get where you want to go, ever. So I'm not going to be mean about it, not going to be rude about it, but these are the rules that we're going to play by, and I'm going to do something unique, and that is treat everyone the same. That means I'm going to be nice, enthusiastic, gracious, but we will play by the rules. We treat everyone the same. So if you're not going to fill this out, I can't do your trials. So let's just fill it out. Well, I'm not comfortable. We teach martial arts. It's got integrity built in by design. You're in good hands. Let's fill this out. But I don't want to. Now, again, guys, I'm kind of going overboard on this, and it's only happened twice for as long as I can remember. But I think it's important to go into it realizing, because here's what happens 99.99% of the time. Mrs. Smith, I don't have your date of birth on here. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't like to put my age on there. Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it top secret. What's your date of birth? She's like, oh, and then she gives me her date of birth. Just be nice to people, but ask them and ask them again. Because what happens is, how do I turn off the screen share? Here's what happens. By having this conversation correctly, you went from mom looking into a karate guy to realizing, oh, maybe this relationship is going to be a little different after all. And as we continue on, she's going to realize it's here. And by the time we're done in 45 minutes, she's going to realize, oh my, we are lucky. This is how it starts. If I can't set the tone from the beginning, and again, I'm not bossing her around, I'm not making her wrong, I'm not telling her what to do. I'm just being happy, friendly, encouraging, but we're going to get my way because it's my house. And these are the rules that I play by. That make sense, guys? All right.
Yeah.
You know what? And again, sometimes, well, what if they don't do it? Well, then turn them away. Imagine if you go into a restaurant, a nice restaurant with no shoes on. Do they say, well, we didn't mean it, or are they going to turn you away? Well, I'm going to assume everyone just said turn you away. So there we go. All right. So now let's move on. We go to my screen share here. Compliance, compliance, compliance. Are you going to be a good fit? See, and here's something else I want to, let me get this out there real fast and I'll move on. But we have this community of people that we've built, our student body, and it's a living, breathing organism. And I've got to care for it like a child. I got to care for it and I've got to love it and I've got to nurture it and I got to help it grow. And I'm not going to bend over backwards for this one person who wants to do it their way, because if I insert them into this community I've built, everything is contagious. And all of a sudden that becomes infectious too. And I can't do that. I won't do that. I'm going to protect the whole. I will sacrifice the one to protect the whole every time. Okay. Also keeps you from operating out of that desperation mode. See, because if you do bend the knee to them, now they're going to argue with you about enrollment. They're going to argue, they're going to have pushback every time you invite them to pay for a rank certification, buy a piece of equipment. Every time you do something, you're going to have a battle. Why? Because you set it up that way. Don't do it. Okay, moving on. Now, once we've filled out that top portion, this is just the information sheet portion. This down here is the PA. I'm not screen sharing, am I? Hang on one second. Here we go. This portion is the information form. This down here is the PA. PA simply means personal analysis. Now, we haven't filled this out, and this has changed. Notice what's on here. Discipline, confidence, focus. Those are the three things that are easy for us to sell, that are worth a lot of money, because we can project into the future. We can talk about not who their child is, but talk about what they want their child to become. And this is the key to your success, guys. This is how you sell big ticket items. It's not about what you get to do. It's about what you get to become. So circle the number one. I don't even want you to list them in order. Circle the number one reason that best describes why you came in today. Confidence, discipline, focus. Number two, why is this or are these most important to you? I need to pry their, again, I don't want them thinking of this as an activity. I want them to realize, I want them to get inside their head. Now we do this in the phone call, but now we're doubling down on it. I want to get you to think about what matters most about helping your child. So, and sometimes people go, well, that seems like it's a little deep. In fact, I've even, on occasion, I've had a mom go, well, this is getting kind of personal. And remember, what's the rule? What's the rule? If something seems a little uncomfortable, what do we do? Do we shy away or do we lean in? Lean in, people. Lean. Well, this seems like it's getting a little personal. Well, I know. This is the only way we can best help your family to grow as a martial artist. So let's go ahead and fill it out. So why is this most important? Well, because it's getting picked on at school. How will your life, you mama, improve if your child had these things, the confidence or the focus? Or well, okay. How long do you think this would take to accomplish on your own? Now, sometimes parents get really, all of a sudden they start to get real truthful. I mean, I've had parents put on there forever. Oh yeah, we're going to help this family. How long have you wanted this for them? Oh gosh, ever since first grade, or maybe their whole life. What am I doing? I'm taking this wound and I'm making it real, and I'm bringing it to the forefront of their thought. I'm bringing their pain to the surface. Then we lighten up a little bit. Will we be in the area for the next year or so? Great. If not, we need to address that. There's no reason to sign you up on a 12-month membership if you're moving in 60 days. That doesn't make sense. Let's talk about that. I don't want to wait. All of this. So the first part is to find out what they want and why it's so important and how it will improve. We're laying the groundwork for how we're going to talk about improving their future. The second half of this is eliminating objections in advance. If you're taking notes, write that down. You want to convert a higher percentage of members, eliminate objections in advance. Like when we do the tour, that's why we do things like the price drop and the schedule concession. And, we do all these things to eliminate objections in advance. I don't want to sit down and ask you to pay the money and then hear one of these things. If that happens, that's on me. That means I didn't address it early enough on, which is how, Master Garland was on here a couple of minutes early. And we were talking about that one of his main goals is to eliminate objections in advance with everything. If something keeps smacking you in the face, you got to figure out how do I stop the smack? People go, oh, we'll get better in blocking. Well, how about we're just not there to get smacked in the first place? That'd be even better still. Because I know in my training, we used to do drills where one person only struck and one person could only block. That's all you could do. And guess what? Sooner or later, something will get through. So let's just not be there to get hit in the first place. So, will you be in the air for next year or so? Yes, no. If no, where might you move to? Let's talk about it. What school? Here's a real example. In fact, you know what? Maybe I'll go to the school and grab some of these. You can see some real life examples of ones that are filled out. But if no, where might you move to? Well, we're moving to Nebraska. Okay, when? In January. Okay, well, this will be now I might have to do a one-off. We're in October. We got 3 months until you move. Let's get Timmy started now. Get him a solid foundation and head start so that when you move to Nebraska, he can continue his training. Heck, I might even be able to help you find a school to train at. Perfect. Let's keep going. Now, I'm not going to pitch you on a program normally because you already told me you're out of here. But that's why I don't want to step in that later. Let's address it and talk about it now. So, what school does your child go to? That's for future reference. How well do they do in school? Tell me about it. If they do great, amazing, straight A's, perfect. A lot of families use martial arts as a reward to balance out their academics with physical and mental training as well. This will be a great fit. My kid's doing okay, average. Perfect. A lot of parents use martial arts to help their kid not only maintain the grades, but gradually improve them over time. So they just makes learning easier. Oh, my kid really struggles in school. Oh, tell me more. Well, the teacher's always yelling at him for talking too much and being distracted. Back to our focus. Or he's just not that bright. Usually don't hear that one. But, well, great. A lot of parents use martial arts to help their child do better in school because learning how to have better focus and concentration has been proven to simply make learning easier. So you've got a lot to look forward to. This is going to be great. So whatever they put, I've got to talk about it. I've got to expand on it to help them realize, what am I doing? I'm creating this alliance that, again, you can do it. You might get pretty good at it. And most importantly, I'm the one for you. So, because most parents, and you guys that have young kids probably can attest to this, or remember when you did have young kids, most parents don't get an alliance from somebody that has a genuine vested interest in the improvement of their child's life. Now, some teachers really care a lot, but again, that's for one grade and then you move on. I mean, we're presenting something that a parent cannot get anywhere else. Let's see, are they involved in any other activities? I don't want them to say, well, we got to think about it because soccer's coming up. We should have already talked about that. Well, he's got soccer, baseball, ballet, and piano lessons. Great. Most of our families are able to find time to get here 1 to 2 times each week. Will we be able to do that? Oh, yeah, we can do that. Perfect. Or if they say, no, we can't. Well, then let's just talk about that. Well, no, right now we're busy 6 days a week. We can't fit anything else in. Okay, well, let me ask. What are we looking to accomplish today? Oh, I just thought it'd be fun for him to try it. Well, as you can see by now, martial arts is a lot more than having fun. It is fun, but martial arts is about developing better people, about helping your child become the child that you want him to be down the road. I've already found out what grade he's in. If he's in third grade, by being the kind of child you want him to become sixth grade. So he has a different experience in life than most. So let's talk about this for a minute. Is there any way that we can get here 1 to 2 times each week to help your son? If there's not, there's no reason to do an intro lesson. If she tells me, if any type of parent tells you we're not going to enroll, then why would we go any further? It's like self-inflicted wounds, torture. Now, if they say, let me put an asterisk by that. If they say not now, not ever, then don't do it. If they say, I don't know, or not yet, or something like that, well, I can probably win you over. Okay. So are there any health concerns we should be made aware of? Well, my kid's got asthma. Does he have his inhaler? Great. If he needs it, let me know. Raise your hand. We'll let him use it. Safety is prime concern. A lot of kids nowadays have ADD and ADHD and every other kind of D you can imagine. Is their medication consistent? Have you found, let's talk about it. Show these people that you care. Don't run away from things. Lean in. My child's he's on the spectrum. Get that a lot nowadays. Everyone's on the spectrum. My child, well, he's on the spectrum. Okay. Is he able to work in groups? Usually does pretty good. Wonderful. Now, we have a lot of kids here that are on the spectrum that are high functioning. And what's interesting to me is that when they find something that is structured and positive, like martial arts, man, they gravitate towards it. So let's find out today, because if this is a good fit, you might have just found the thing's going to help your child thrive. Now, for any of you guys that have worked with kids on the spectrum, when's the last time a parent heard something like that? Probably never. You just elevated your value, your importance, your whatever you want to call it, tenfold. Here's actually someone that wants to help me and help my kid and actually gives a crap. They're not going to find that somewhere else. Everyone else is pushing their kid through the system. Don't do that. Talk about what matters to them. Okay, now here's the biggie. This is my favorite one on here, number 11. So, ma'am, if approved for membership, will you be able to make the decision to get started today? Most of the time, they circle yes. Great. Occasionally, you circle a no. Or sometimes they circle both, like, I don't know. But if they don't circle yes, we're going to talk about it. Again, lean in. Now, sidebar, if you're doing your phone presentation right, and there is more than one decision maker involved, they're there because you did it right on the phone. So if that's happening to you, go back and review the phone dialogue, fix it. However, if you're doing the phone dialogue correctly, you will, in fact, have both decision makers there every time. But the question still applies, because what I'm doing is I'm pre-framing the fact that they might get to enroll today. And I need them open to the idea that they might get invited to enroll today. And again, back to the phone dialogue, we should have finished it up with, and Mrs. Smith, just to let you know, most of our families know after their very first lesson if it's a good fit or not. So if it is, heck, we'll even help you save money by simply getting started right away. Okay? Just nice and warm and fuzzy. And they go, oh, okay. Now, when they come in, we double down. If approved for membership, will you be able to make the decision to enroll to get started today? Again, most of the time they say yes at this point because we follow the process. But if we didn't follow, if we missed a step, or for some reason they're not, let's talk about it. No. Ooh, I see on here you put no. Tell me about that. Be curious. Remember a few weeks back we talked about one of the keys to our success is to just have the curiosity of a 4-year-old. Ask more questions. Oh, I see on here you put no. If approved for membership, are you able to make the decision to get started today? You circled no. Tell me about that. Very open-ended, non-threatening, certainly not adversarial, curious. Well, we just don't make decisions right away. We like to think about things. Oh, To me, that's a big sigh of relief. Oh, cool. I'll win these guys over easy. All I have to do is show them that I can modify their child's behavior in an instant and get them to realize that this will help them get whatever it is we talked about up here that's so important to them. So what else might they say? Well, that's usually it. Well, we just don't like to make commitments too fast. Oh, don't worry. We'll go over all the things, and we're never going to force you to do something you don't want to do. However, if it is a good fit, we can offer to help you save some money, but we'll get to that later. Don't worry. See, I'm just going to talk about your apprehension so that I can help it go away. Back to the kid skinning their knee. Oh, my kid skinned his knee. Panic. Kid blows up and cries. No big deal. Kid shakes it off, keeps going. Same deal. Let's talk about your worries, your fears, your concerns, and let's diminish them and put them out. Okay, now, sometimes people go, well, what if, because this can happen, and I'll give you my personal philosophy, and you do whatever you think is best for you, but I'll tell you what we do, and that is, on the phone, we book the time where both mom and dad can be there. Okay, done. We found out both parents are involved. We schedule the lesson where both parents could be there. We do our confirmation calls religiously, day before, day of, confirming both parents are going to be there, day of. And then they show up with one parent. This actually happened last week one day. Showed up with one parent. Actually, we got two versions of this last week. Here's the easier one. Day of confirmation. Dad, just confirming you guys are coming in here. You go, oh, man, it's probably just going to be me. My wife can't come. That's a nightmare already, because mom is typically the decision maker in the household. Can we agree? When it comes running the household, mom usually running the ship. Mom's not going to come because we have a baby, a little toddler, and he's still asleep. I don't think he's going to be awake in time, so I'm just going to bring the kid. Oh, no, you're not. No. We are not going to do that. Why? Because now I'm going to give you an hour of my life force, my being, and I'm going to get nothing in return. No, thank you. So, but we're real cool about it. Real cool about it. Well, we're not going to be able to make it. Okay, well, no worries. I tell you what, I'm sorry, it's just going to be me. Wife can't come, baby's asleep. Oh, well, in that case, let's go ahead and reschedule. What? No, we're coming. I know, but sir, it's so important that both parents are here for day one, because we're going to be covering a lot of information, and there is no way you're going to be able to bring it back and tell your wife accurately. So let's just schedule a time where you guys can both be here. I understand the baby's asleep. Don't worry about it. No big deal. I'll tell you what, how about tomorrow? I've got 5 or 6:30, which is best? Take it away. And you'll see the same kind of recurring theme when we go to enroll people, everything. You know what? If they're not compliant, take it away. Watch how quickly it changes. Okay, you are in control. It's your business. You get to decide in advance how we're going to conduct business. And if you're not going to play by my rules, then you don't get to play. Because again, I'm not chasing you. I'm letting you in. Guard the door securely. So, wife can't come. We said, okay, well, let's go ahead and reschedule. Well, no. I still want to bring my kid in. Well, I understand. And if the baby's up, great. But I know that most parents don't want to wake up their baby. So let's just reschedule for Monday. This was on Friday. It's on Friday. Let's just reschedule for Monday. No problem. He's like, well, do we have to? Yes, sir. It's the only way we can make sure that everyone gets all the right information and to start your kid off and show good support. And don't worry about it. No big deal. We'll just reschedule. In other words, we're doing it my way. Now, one time we had a dad, we confirmed, and they showed up still with one parent. And 2 ways to go with this, guys. We rescheduled the entire deal. However, on occasion, we've called an audible where we went ahead and did the tour and orientation, but we did not present the money. Don't do it. Because here's the problem. If you talk about the cost and they go home and regurgitate the price to the other parent, they're never going to be able to convey the value. And we already know in advance that cost is always a concern until value is understood. And if they're not there, the only thing they hear is it's $200 a month. That's it. Don't do it. Most of the time, if a parent shows up after we've confirmed on the phone and we've set the appointment, both parents are there. We've confirmed day before, we've confirmed day of, both parents are going to be there. They show up with one parent. Where's mom? Oh, she couldn't make it last minute. Oh, okay. Well, because it's so important to help students get started correctly, let's go and reschedule. But wait, we're here. Yeah, I know. But we've got a lot of ground to cover today, and I can't do it without mom being here. So here, come with me. We'll just find a time to reschedule. No big deal. Well, why wouldn't you just present him? Because he's not going to sign up. And people, well, I think he might. Okay, try it. Go for it. Tell me how that works out. Now, one time we had a little girl and she was so hard set on doing it. She was like exploding with energy and excitement. And she probably would have broken into tears because she had been looking for it. Oh, she's so excited. So we went ahead and did the tour and the orientation. And at the end of the lesson, congratulations, your kid did great. She's already pretty fast. You did great. You ready to be one of my students? Yes, sir. Perfect. Turn on, give dad a big hug. We did all the steps. Said, okay, now let's go ahead and schedule her next lesson. And we need to make sure it's a time where mom can be here too. Okay, great. Well, how much is it going to be? Well, don't worry. We'll go over all that stuff when mom's here. We'll do that on we do that on our second lesson. Now, normally we would do that on the first lesson, but I'm not going to present one parent when both parents are involved. Because statistically, you'll get like 2 out of 100. So don't set yourself up for failure, guys. Play the game to win. Decide in advance, these are the rules of engagement, and then treat everyone the same. And just be nice about it. Be nice, be gracious. I'm not going to scold you. I'm not going to make you wrong. I'm just going to make sure to help you get it right. And we're going to, the way I look at it, it's my house. You come over. You're not going to come over to my house. You're not going to come over to my house and put your muddy shoes up on the coffee table. So decide this academy, this is an extension of my home, and these are the rules of the house. And I'm not here to be mean or make you wrong. I'm the keeper of the standard. And as a black belt and as a martial artist, I think that is so important to embrace. This is why you have to make sure that you do things right, because you are the example for them to follow. You are the keeper of the standard. And if you haven't decided already what the standards are, the struggle is real. But once you decide these are my standards and everyone has to rise to the occasion, and my job is to help them do it, not to point it out that they did it wrong, to help them get it right. And like, for example, here's a good example of that. We have an apprentice program, and people bow on the training floor before they come on. And the students that are an apprentice know that part of their job is to be a good example for others. Well, we had a new kid that came in, they walked on the floor. And instead of going, hey, you didn't bow, make them wrong, this little 12-year-old apprentice member went over and said, hey, how you doing? My name is Tommy Smith. What's your name? Nice to meet you. You know what? I've been here for a while. Let me show you how we walk on the floor. Here, come with me. And they took them over to the edge of the floor and helped them bow onto the workout floor. That's how everyone should be treating everybody. Don't make them wrong. Help them get it right. Be more encouraging than discouraging. But never forget, you are the keeper of the standard. And without them, you're just an activity. And again, I'm going to say it, activities are cheap. I don't want that. So with that, let's do some takeaways. Let's start with Master Moss. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. So what are we taking away from this delightful dissertation Monday morning?
I guess my biggest takeaway is to obviously try to eliminate the objection before they become an objection.
Yeah, get in front of it. I think that's so important. That because you'll find you start to get hit with the same objections over and over again. I mean, there's not that much variety in what we do, and that sometimes I think is the challenge. How do I consistently do the same thing over and over and over again as if it was the first time? Well, it just means I got to make it more about them than about me. If I make it about me, I'm bored out of my skull. If I make it about them, I can get excited for them because for them, it's brand new. Right?
Right.
But you'll find you start to, whenever you hear certain objections or complaints or whatever you might hear, you start to see patterns. Well, how do I prevent that from ever happening again? Let me get in front of it so that it can't. It's beautiful. Very good. All right. Mr. Silver, what do we got today?
Self. There we go. I muted myself. Um, I had a question in relation. What if you got a working parent that's just not available to come in during the day? They work nights or something. Police officer, different shifts. How do you
Okay.
normally handle that?
Let me get to that as soon as you answer my question. What are you taking away from today?
What am I taking away from today? Systems. Keep working on your systems.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Decide in advance. These are the rules, and I'm
And
just going to stick to the rule. And this is how you keep it from becoming emotional. Mrs. Smith, I really want to help you, but we show the integrity we teach. And the truth is, I got to treat everyone the same. So here's what we'll do. Right? You tell them, address it, tell them what you're going to do, and then do it. Yeah. Now, to answer your question, well, my husband, now that's more of a one-off. And sometimes you got to go a little sideways. You know, like we had a lady not too long ago. She goes, well, my husband's a truck driver. Well, when's he get back home? Well, he's only home and then he's gone again. There's no way he'll ever come in. You'll probably never meet him. Okay. Well, do you have full, I didn't say permission. Do you have the ability to make the decisions financially for your family? Lean into it. You know what the concern's going to be. You know what she's going to say. Oh, that's a lot of money. I got to check with my husband. Get, like Master Moss just said, just get in front of it. Well, if approved for membership, we do invite families to save money. So if it looks like it'd be a good fit, are you able to make the decision on enrolling your daughter without your husband being here? Oh, yes, of course. Now, I know that may turn out to not be true, but I'm going to do my best to get in front of it. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. You know,
ultimately, I think the eliminate the objections in advance is the best thing I'm getting out of this.
Beautiful.
I did hear it, but you know, repetition is how we start solidifying habit.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'd listen and read stuff over and over. It's like going to the movies. You watch a movie, oh, that was really good. You watch it again, oh, it got even better. Why? Because you got more out of it. You're able to see more than you saw the first time. So yeah, I think that's really important. Yes. Master Gartland, what are we taking away today, sir?
Not necessarily making them wrong. That's a big thing, and something that sometimes I have to remind myself.
Yes. Oh, I
I
used to be the worst. I used to be the worst at that. I mean, think about it. Someone does something wrong, bend that knee, 20 push-ups. I mean, I'm gonna make sure you know you're wrong, you know. And I think in a certain era that worked. But the truth is, times have changed, and if we don't evolve and change as well, you go the way of the dinosaur. Simple as that. You know, marketing has changed.
Hi, guys.
People have changed. I do my best to make sure they get everything out of this that has ever been available, but I've got to get better at how I help them get it out of them, how I help them get it out.
Is this his first one? Yeah.
I mean, look at how people have changed parenting. I don't know many parents today that will take the belt to their child. But that was common when I was a kid. Who didn't get whipped with a belt? I mean, you know, was it better? Was it worse? A little of each, I think, maybe. I guess it depends on the individual circumstance. But the truth is, times have changed. And so we have to become better. We have to become better instructors. We have to become better examples of how to get someone to want to do it instead of force them to do it. And that's the real key. And that's the real mark of a leader. I don't want to force you to do it out of fear of repercussions. I used to. I want to inspire you to do it better than you even thought you could, which means I have to get better at communication, better at motivation, better at handling, heading off objections before they ever arise. If that thought never even comes in your mind, my job's easier. So how do I make sure it never comes in your mind? Let me address it first before you even think about it. Yeah. Excellent. And ma'am, I see you down there and I don't have a name, so I can't call you. I apologize, but what are you taking away from this today? I'm glad you're here. What's your name? You're still muted. Sorry. I think if you're on an iPhone, you just swipe over to the right. There we go.
Hi,
There
I'm
we go.
Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
I think what I got out of it the most was not making it an activity, to make it something that's more important, because I think it's important, but I just moved to Payson and everybody up here, all they've ever seen is activities. So I'm really struggling with the whole, we do this for 3 months and that for 1 month and this for 6 weeks. And so that was kind of the big thing that I took out of it.
Where'd you say you're located?
Payson, Arizona.
Ooh, and what is that near?
Phoenix. I had a
Oh.
school in Phoenix for 20 years.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
I just moved up here in May, and woo, it has been a struggle. It is not the same as it was in Phoenix.
What's the population there?
16,000.
That's a smaller town. Yeah, yeah. There's different strategies for that. But here's the good news. We haven't talked about that yet in this group, but if you make the decision to become outcome-based versus time-based, it changes everything. For example, our starter program is a beginner greenbelt program. And we just actually literally Thursday, Mr. Wong enrolled a family like, oh, this is perfect, because I know during soccer season, it might be hard for us to get here. But since the program doesn't expire until they reach greenbelt, it won't matter, which is a whole lot easier than trying to explain if you miss a week or two, we'll extend your expiration date. It's a whole different conversation, game changer. And it really makes a difference when you put them on a program to achieve black belt. You no longer become an activity. Yeah, I don't want to, you're right. To be categorized with all the activities that last 8, 12 weeks, it's a kiss of death. So yeah.
And we're the most expensive thing up here.
Beautiful.
We're more expensive. There's only one other martial arts school, but that guy's kind of a bully, and he's from here. And so he doesn't even do what we do. And then there's a dance and a gymnastics, and that's it. There's nothing else for kids except for Parks and Rec.
And what are you currently charging?
I'm currently charging only $159, and people are struggling with it. I was up to $250 in the Valley, and I had testing. I've added testing here.
Yeah, good.
I've only got 50 students. It's so frustrating.
Well, may I ask, what's the gross income last month?
7,000.
Oh, we can help you.
It's awful. It's awful.
Well, Roman, will you drop the link in there again? I don't know if Miss Sharon was on there when we first started.
Yeah,
but there's some definite strategies. What are you with, any organization or group?
I'm ATA.
Oh, cool. Okay. My partner in crime, Fred Mertens, actually, we'll be down in Jacksonville on the middle of next month. We'll be in Jacksonville conducting a 3-day training at Grandmaster Clark's headquarters. You know, for the rest of you guys, in fact, we'll send you guys the link if you're interested in checking it out. It'll blow you away. And it doesn't matter. I'm not ATA, so it doesn't matter what organization, what association, what style you teach. We got Kung Fu guys coming, you name it. It's about how you deliver what it is you teach, regardless of what you teach, and the programs that you sell. So yeah, very cool. Glad to have you here, ma'am. Who's your direct instructor?
My husband, Josiah Ruker, but his instructor is Michelle Langrenly.
Oh yeah. Okay, very cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they've been in the Arizona area forever.
Yeah, we've been in Arizona, my husband and I, for over 20 years in a school.
Wow. Do you know the Jonases?
I do know the Jonases. They bought my school in the Valley.
They've been clients for years, ever since. Actually,
yeah.
So they've more recently they did, right? With Victory?
Yeah, in May.
Okay.
With Victory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
I'm their Glendale school. They bought my Glendale school.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. What a small world. All right. Well, let's see here. Mr. Walker, what are we taking away today?
First out, a shout out to my friend Sharon on her move and semi-retirement, and to her husband. I haven't seen her personally in about 20 years since Miami. So I'm glad to see she's doing well and everything, and life is good for her. I would say my takeaway is we're doing the right thing. We're moving in the right direction. We're moving away from the old style, like you said, the militant, the bullying style of discipline and stuff, and more into the intrinsic instead of the external motivation for the students. We've got some new systems we're implementing. And so it's just reaffirms we're doing the right thing right now.
That's fantastic. Are you also ATA?
No,
Okay.
We're Okinawan Village Karate from if we were going to talk with Sharon, you know, with the Mike Walls and Heather Walls there in Phoenix at Paradise Valley Karate. So we're a traditional Okinawan karate school.
That's cool. Very cool. Are you still in where are you located?
We're in the world famous Aurora, Colorado.
All right. That's great. Yeah, we have another client in Colorado, the guy named Tim Scott. I don't know if you know him. He's
down in Castle Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure where he is. But yeah, he is turned into a real dynamo. They've got a couple hundred students now. He's cranking. So, all right. Well, heck, I appreciate you guys all being on the call. Roman put the link in the chat that you can click and schedule a call. We do about like a 15-minute call and share some advice on how to move forward if you're interested. And it's always fun to get to know people. So please, if you're not already on board, click the link and let's chat for a minute and share some insight and see if it might be a good fit. I know next week we'll be sharing the link with everyone for the training that we're doing in Jacksonville, Florida, November 14, 15, 16. And in the meantime, heck, I think the better everyone does, the better all of us do, because there's too many people out there that don't set the right example. And I think in martial arts, I think this is the single best investment any parent could ever make in themselves or their child. And I think that every martial artist that's put their heart and soul into this, especially for the last 10, 20 years, should be making a real income, not only for themselves, but to inspire other people to follow in their footsteps. Because you will not find a young adult that aspires to be broke. So, you know, in my opinion, one thing that my instructor shared with me, Clint Robinson, many years ago, is like, look, you know, how many people do you know? Or no, how did he put it? He goes, you know, you put as much time and energy into your education as a martial artist than any doctor or lawyer does in their career. Why wouldn't you be compensated just as well? And I thought, ooh, that's a whole different outlook. Okay. All right. So, and most of the time, 99% of the time, it comes down to, are we setting ourselves up to even have that kind of success? Are we running our business like a business, or are we running our business like a hobby? And too often, because this is a passion project to begin, we do it because we love it so much, we never embrace the business component, and then we just struggle. And, you know, there ain't no romance without finance. You know, it's all fun, but eventually the fun wears off if we're not being compensated for our work and effort. And that would be a shame. So here's everyone's success. Go get them. And I will see you next week. Thank you for being on the call.